Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new week. This is Monday, May the 8th, and here we are to talk about our weekly plan. Um, if you take a look at this area here, this is where I posted the plan last week, and one of the targets that we had identified in the weekly plan, number one was 4188. 4188 hit almost immediately on Monday, um, and then we got to the 4200 area. Um, and that was a big rejection there. Um, Let me bring all the uh, indicators one by one and stuff so we can start talking about things here. Um, so like I said, we immediately started rejecting higher prices, and that's as a result of that, uh, we got a breakdown, and we're going to talk about, what do I see price going this week, and what do I think is the next step to follow. So as you can see right now, we are trading 4160, which is really uh, no different than any other uh, plan that I posted on a daily standpoint, and everything just keeps bouncing from from the levels that we identified properly. So plan was posted here. Um, as soon as we broke down below the pivot, 4150, you can see how we came back up. That's the pivot from below. Um, One of the levels that I've been watching for a long time is 4163, and you can see why. That was the old 7 day balance area high, which was also the last week half back in the 4163 area. It's so critical, and that's exactly where we at right now in that area. And as you can see, we proceeded to hit target one, target two, target three over here to the tick. Um, I think I have 4161 as target number three. And if you take a look at this on Thursday around noon, the low of that candle was 4062. If you take a look at this part right here, the low of this candle here was 4063. So this one came back a little lower, attacked that area, and we took off from there. And we have, since that happened, we have traveled back all the way back up to pivot. So it was a round trip from pivot, if you want to, call it that. But the most important thing that I want to highlight in here is how the breaks down, the breaks down are happening and where they're happening. Um, I have to double check to make sure that the algo high was still there, but you can see that this area here that I have selected, um, the purple zone, that is a gap from August 19th. It just touched the gap, which was also the 3 month balance high at the moment. And from there, the rejection was crazy. I mean, you can see the rejection by yourself. Um, Sometimes I use Fibonacci tool to identify some levels and for target purposes, and you can see 141 is normally the one I use, um, and you just hit that uh, 41% fit to the tick, just a point or two below. Um, so, like I said, I use that as a measuring tool, not necessarily, for me to validate any levels or anything, but it's always good to know that the reaction is taking place at that level 41, which is the one I pay attention to. So what we have is very simple this week. Again, same targets, same pivot. I'm not going to change anything, but I do want to bring a couple of additional examples of balance. As you can see, the market have a tendency to respect the balance areas. Uh, 3 month balance, last week high, which is a 4 weeks balance high. So that's a lot of labels here, a lot of drawings that I use, but obviously, uh, It's just for direction, a sense, trying to find a sense to what the price is likely to go. So I want to show you a cleaner chart here, and this is the XPX. Um, S SPX only trades during the cash session, so I don't normally keep a lot of notes here, but as you can see, it's a lot cleaner. I can show you things differently. Um, there are two different types of gaps. One is the gap that you get from the closing to the open, so that's a price gap. And there's a value gap. Those are the two I track. I don't know if there's anything else, but that's the way I call them. That's what I look for. Um, as you can see on Friday, uh, EES SPX had a gap up and it created this gap here. So normally when it's a true gap up, you're gonna see uh, that the opening of the candle here is gonna be above the previous day high. So that is considered a true gap up. Um, Areas like this, for example, this is the previous day high. This is where we open. That's just a gap in price from when we close to where we open, not necessarily um, a gap in the value. So anyway, um, that's a different conversation. But everything that you see here, we have gaps. All the green stuff is gaps. All the red stuff is gap below. But I'm not talking about gaps. I want to just talk to you about balance and where do I see things heading to. So if you take a look at the 3 week balance that we have here, we broke down, we retested the low, and then broke down again, um, and it started, you know, recovering, and then we went back into a 3 week balance again. So here we started, framing down. Here we recover back to balance, and then balance, 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 and then here, we broke out of balance and started framing up. And again, it's just that's how it works. You get some areas that you recover, and you start getting above the balance area high, then you start framing. Uh, get below, you start framing. So here, what I got is the activity since uh, January 31st. Let's just go to February. And what you can see is that the market is in a 4 month balance. This being the low, this being the high right here. If you go ahead and measure that, what you're going to see is that the halfback of that is right here at 4,000. It's SPX. So the ES is it's a little higher. Right now, I think it's about 20 points. Um, maybe a little less today. I'll have to check that out. But what I just wanted to show you that, this area that we are trading right now, it is very, very critical because we're flirting with a breakout and we're flirting with um, some potential gap fills. Again, I have to verify that these are true gaps from the profile standpoint, but we're about to reach these areas here. And as we do that, we're leaving some structural issues behind. So likely to be revisited at some point. Um, so anyway, um, when you look at the most recent activity here, um, you can see that I have in green, I have that balance area, 5 week balance in there. And this is actually daily on yellow, but everything points to the 4100 level. In SPX 4109 and ES it's going to be about uh, 4140, 4150. That's where I have it at. So that's going to be very critical as we move forward into this week. And I can just go ahead and show you that. Um, let me see here. If you take a look, it's the same information that we have here. So if you measure, and I got to switch this over to RTH, if we measure from here to here, everything comes down to that 4150 level. That is the 50%. That's the halfback of that range, and that's where we're likely to identify some trading opportunities as we move forward into this week. Again, I have targets from pivot. We have 41.87, 42.20, and 42.34. So that's all we got for this week. Again, nothing different in terms of targets. Same plan as before. Last week we experienced the breakdown. Not sure if this week we're going to head back up and recover from last week's breakdown. All right, thank you, and just have a good week.